What's up guys, this is Jimmy from The Aesthetic Professional. I worked out with my brother yesterday, younger brother. We have similar frames. He's about 6'4", I'm about 6'3". And I was thinking about when I started training. I was about 18 years old. And at first, I did a lot of things right, but I did a lot of things wrong. There's a lot of things that I wish I would have known, wish I would have done better, that I want to discuss today. The first one that I want to talk about is patience in training. And so what I mean by that is when you start to become passionate or interested in something, I think it's easy to get a little bit obsessive, to kind of absorb as much information as you possibly can. And that was absolutely my case when I got into training. Every day I was reading about different training programs and bodybuilding routines and strength routines and hypertrophy programs. And I wasn't very patient. I didn't stick to a program for very long. Only at the very beginning, when I was just kind of following what my friends did or something like that, was I actually sticking to a program. And then once I kind of started doing my own thing, it was like every day I was trying something different. And the important thing to know there is, muscle growth takes time. You can't evaluate the effectiveness of a program in a few days or a week or even a couple weeks. Typically you want to run that program all the way through, whether it's a 12-week program, 16-week program. In order to understand what works, you need to actually run it all the way through, and you can't just program hop the whole time. So I wish I would have been more patient. I wish I would have given the programs more time to work and not program hop. So that's the first one. The second one probably won't come as a surprise to most of you guys watching this channel, and that is I wish I would have understood the importance of progressive overload. I'm gonna be really quick on this one because I'm sure most of you guys understand this, but I thought it was important to mention. As I kind of got a little bit more advanced, I kind of went away from tracking weights and just trying to get stronger. I did a little bit of that, but most of my workouts are focused on getting a great pump, doing high volume, and that training works. I did get results from that because I was improving work capacity. Now, the issue is that I wasn't tracking anything, and so it worked for kind of the first few months. My work capacity improved immensely. I got good results. But after that, because I wasn't tracking anything, I would go in the gym and I thought that I was killing it. But at the end of the day, I was just kind of doing the same level of intensity, the same level of work that I normally did. So if I would have been tracking, I could have continued to get results from that type of training. But I didn't know, what I needed to do, because I would just go in there and try to train by feel and just go to, perceived failure or whatever, do kind of whatever the bodybuilding program said, instead of, tracking my own progress and trying to add, another 5 pounds or another rep or, another set, something like that to actually achieve progressive overload. Number 3 is a tough one, and I feel like one that you almost have to learn through experience, but the third point that I want to make is I wish that I knew that more is not better. And it is such a logical conclusion to say, oh, if 10 sets is good, then 20 sets must be better. But I learned quickly that your training is only as good as your recovery. So if I want to grow my arms and I'm training them every day to failure, they don't ever have a chance to recover, and I'm not going to get any benefit. I'm not going to make any progress. So the important thing kind of for this takeaway is that you get on a program, you train 3, 4, maybe 5 days a week, depending on volume and intensity. Try to marry your training to your recovery ability and your recovery time. And then that's when you're gonna get the best results. I would almost rather people undertrain and over recover, because you will make progress, albeit slow, versus overtrain and under recover, because at that point you probably won't be making much progress at all. That's at least been my experience and my experience working with clients. It's almost better to start lower and then kind of ramp up volume and intensity and figure out kind of where that point is when you start to get diminishing returns. The fourth one is I wish I understood the importance of mobility. And this might sound kind of high level and not that important, but I will tell you definitively that if you're not focused on mobility and you can't achieve great range of motion or mind-muscle connection, you are sacrificing gains. And a perfect kind of anecdote to illustrate that is recently with my shoulder, is something that I've been very focused on and had a lot of trouble growing. And it turned out that at least one of the reasons was tightness in my traps and my neck. Just from sitting at a computer, kind of being stressed out, not sleeping well, my traps and my neck became very tight. And every time I would do a lateral raise or a shoulder press, my traps would activate. And it, my actual delt wouldn't kind of get the full stimulus that it should have gotten. And once I kind of started to work on mobility there, I noticed my mind muscle connection in my shoulders became much better. I was able to kind of achieve full range of motion. I was able to kind of really feel the muscle working. And so do not underestimate the importance of mobility. I would recommend at least once a week to kind of go out of your way to foam roll and stretch. I stretch after every workout and I foam roll once or twice a week, typically once full body, and then the second session will be if something's really sore or something's really tight, then I'll kind of add that session in. All right, the sixth and final thing that I wish I would have known is the importance of self-experimentation. And this has been the foundation of this channel and all the information that I share here. As I mentioned in the first one, when I started to become passionate, obsessed about fitness, I was just reading all the time, absorbing information, and just trying to piece together what I would think is the perfect program based on all this kind of external information. And at the end of the day, what I've ultimately realized is nobody online, nobody in a magazine, nobody, kind of from a research lab can tell you the perfect program for you. It's all about putting it into practice and figuring out what works for you and what's sustainable. You got to think about your lifestyle and your preferences. Actually go out and try things, try programs for 9 weeks, at least 8 or 9 weeks, to kind of get a good idea of what might work and what doesn't. And then you can kind of start to piece together the program that works best for you. That's what I do with my online coaching clients. Is I'll start with something more basic, customized based on my understanding of their situation and their preferences, and then we'll constantly be adjusting to figure out what works and what doesn't for them. And then we ultimately get to kind of a blend of strategies that works. And this is what I couldn't recommend more to you guys, is self-experimentation. I think research is great. I think YouTube fitness is great. I think kind of online fitness writers are great. They're great for idea generation. They are not going to tell you exactly what you should be doing. So those are the top 6 things that I wish I would have known. Let me know in the comments below what you wish you would have known when you started training. I'm interested to hear. I'll read all of them, check them out. One last thing before I go is I have posted some merch on my website, theapfit.com. Finally found a supplier that I'm comfortable with. As you saw in that workout, I was rocking the No Excuses tee, and it says Aesthetic Professional on the back. It's pretty fresh in my opinion. If you're interested in that, link is in the description box below. But regardless, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the support. I'll see you guys soon.